Discraft's Great Lakes Open, presented by GRIP6, has reached the halftime mark of this four-day tournament from Milford, Michigan. It's Tournament Central on the Disc Golf Network. Grant Zellner alongside Brian Earhart. Brian, we're done a lot earlier on day two than we were on day number one. And for our duo out front, Eagle McMahon and Kevin Jones, I suppose it's mission accomplished. They didn't extend their lead, but they stayed neck and neck with each other, and they are still out front by multiple strokes. You followed along today. What did you see in their games? Let's start with Eagle McMahon, who went bogey-free on the day.
Man, he was ripping the disc out there. This is the dream course to spectate an Eagle McMahon round on, and the crowd was following him very closely. He had a few moments where I thought he was going to pop off and do something spectacular and didn't quite capitalize on the good shots that he was throwing. But overall, a clean day, 6 under par. He seemed very satisfied with it. I think he really gave respect to the swirling winds out there. They started to die out later in the day, but early on, he really fought, and the spin putt was working for the most part.
Kevin Jones stays neck and neck with Eagle McMahon. He did have one blemish on the card, the only hole in which he took an OB penalty. Other than that, a clean day for Kevin Jones. He looks very, very comfortable at the top of the leaderboard, which I think bodes well for him, given the fact that he's gone just a little while without really being in contention. It looks like he's right back in KJ USA form.
He looked great out there. I mean, in the wind, a player like Kevin has to work infinitely harder than so many other players because of how steep he likes to release his hyzers on. We saw him make a mistake on hole number 3 because of it, trying to throw steep hyzer, got flipped over because of it. But overall, he was masterful with the hyzer flip out there. And whenever there was a good right-to-left crosswind, he was using it to his full advantage, swinging the hyzer wide with a bunch of power and really giving the fans a treat and also getting him way up the fairway. I mean, he threw some phenomenal shots. I mean, the big hyzer tee shot on 10 was amazing, just dwarfing this course in so many ways. We talked about how power does not get necessarily sufficiently rewarded out here with the new OB, but really, Kevin did take advantage of the big hyzer power, that's for sure.
So our duo out front has shot rounds of 8 under par and then 6 under par, so call it a 7 under par average. That put us at 28 down at the end of the day Sunday. In your opinion, is that going to be good enough, or does somebody, whether it's the two of them or somebody from just behind, is somebody going to have to go lower this weekend?
You know, I don't think so. I think as long as we don't get as chaotic of wind for round 3 or 4, somebody's going to shoot well into the double digits. I think that's one of the biggest problems on this course is having trouble reading the conditions, even when the wind or the temperature is nice. So, yeah, tomorrow, say we get 5-mile-an-hour winds, we're going to have multiple guys gunning for the top. And then if some of our leaders don't have a stellar day, we could easily see the lead switch and have a few of those guys drop way down the leaderboard. So we'll just have to see. If we have 2 more rounds that were similar in conditions like they were today, it is way in Kevin Jones and Eagle McMahon's advantage.
Anthony Barela with the hot round thus far on the weekend. Of course, the weekend just half over. A 9 under par effort, including a bogey. So 10 birdies on the day. Anthony Barela throwing well and moving himself up 13 places on the leaderboard. He'll play from the lead card tomorrow. We talk about the talent for Anthony Barela. Now, perhaps it's the experience of being in front and staying in front. What do you expect to see from him?
Oh, I hope he gets some redemption here. I think there's a lot of people in his corner that are rooting for him, and what better course to see him throw on than this one? I mean, take a look at this drive on 17, Grant. This is a hole where players are going wide, safe hyzer over the road, and he's choosing to throw a max distance line here just to push up the fairway as far as possible. That's bold, and look how far up the fairway he got, standstill from the rough on the right side. That's just special stuff that not many people have in their arsenal. So he can use his skill set to his advantage out here. He's going to have to do that for 2 more rounds. And like I said, if the conditions calm, this is his opportunity to put his foot on the gas and prove to us that he is capable of closing out a big championship like this. And I think he can do it. I think the heartbreaking loss at the European Open is going to stick with him, and I think he's going to use that for fuel. if not this tournament, we got some big tournaments coming up.
Anthony not just showing off the arm off the tee, but also putts of 60 feet and a closing putt of 50 feet, both of those for birdie. So Anthony's got all parts of the game working well. We asked him about his day after he came off of 18.
AB, Anthony Barela. Anthony off the course today with a 9 under. Just give us some of your initial thoughts.
I threw the disc pretty well today. I gave myself a birdie putt on at least 13, 14 holes. I missed some easy ones in the front 9, but then on the back 9, I ended up finishing with 2 40-footers. So that was a solid finish for me.
Yeah, hole 16, you went OB. You took your only bogey of the round, really threatened to kind of put your momentum on ice, and then you bounced back with a couple of big putts. Can you just tell us about that stretch?
Yeah, hole 16 is just a toss-up. I mean, I missed my line by 1 foot, and then just the vines just dropped it straight down. And then 17, 18, I threw a great second shot in 17 to give myself a 40-footer and made the putt. And then I pretty much played hole 18 perfectly. Just throw a sidearm up there and then sidearm to just give yourself a putt, and then I nailed it. So definitely finishing out, 1 under those last 4 holes is ideal on this course.
Well, coming off the course, there was a huge line of fans waiting to get your signature. What's it feel like to get that kind of support from this gallery?
I mean, it's amazing. Like, looking around, seeing my jerseys and my hats is literally just a dream come true. It just makes me so happy, and it just makes me want to play better.
Anthony Barela, thank you so much.
Yep. Cool. Perfect.
Okay, Brian, what would you like to see from AB heading into the second half of this tournament?
I want to see the long putts go in again, Grant. I think this course sets up well for a player like AB. Being able to give himself looks on almost every hole here, like he said he did almost today. So the one thing I have to say, this dude has potentially the longest standing putt range in the entire world that plays disc golf. I watched him in the Discraft factory set up a practice basket and was putting end to end 120 to 150 feet away like it was absolutely nothing. So the skill set is there. I mean, he's a physical freak when it comes to executing these ridiculous shots that no one else can do. But can he do it for 2 more rounds? I think him, us, everyone rooting for him are looking forward to seeing that.
Anthony Barela locked up in 3rd position on the lead card tomorrow with Chris Dickerson, a major champion. And Chris Dickerson, plus others, they'll be the topic after this break on the Disc Golf Network.
When I walk up to a shot, I'm looking for the target. I'm looking at obstacles around the target, specific landing zones, looking at the height. Knowing all of that, I'm able to shape a shot. I don't want to think, did I get the right shot? Did I get the right distance? Like, that's it, I got it. Confidence is everything, and the Edge Disc Golf Rangefinder gives me exactly that.
With a smooth, clean shave, every day is a clean slate. So who cares if you put all your money in crypto and called your boss an idiot? Barbasol. It's a can of can-do.
Ledgestone. Every summer, hundreds of disc golfers flock to the greater Peoria, Illinois area to compete in the sport's richest and most charitable event, the Ledgestone Open. But what does Ledgestone look like for the rest of the year? On the surface, Ledgestone is one of disc golf's leading retailers, but look a little closer and you'll find a group of motivated individuals providing the best possible service to the disc golf community. So whether you're building a bag, wanting to support your favorite pro, or looking to add to your disc golf wardrobe, choose the retailer that's as passionate about the sport as you are. Choose Ledgestone.
Brian, Chris Dickerson had a good round on the day, a great round going, took a little blemish there on 18, sort of paid for his only real mistake, which was that OB stroke that he managed to stave off until the 18th. Chris Dickerson is looking pretty sharp throughout the course of the weekend. What does he need to do differently, if anything, to make himself a little bit more of a factor?
Looks like the back nine is the thing he needs to start scoring a little bit better on. He comes out of the gate pretty hot. I mean, today he went 5 under on the front, kind of fizzled out in the back, and then, yeah, like you said, got that bogey on 18 to finish. I don't think he needs to change much. I think if we were to ask him what he needs to do differently, he'd kind of look at you and say, I mean, nothing. I'm on the lead card going into the final day. All he's got to do is just clean up a couple little execution errors along the way, and he'll be right there in the double digits, no problem. I mean, the holes that he's birdieing are very solid holes. I mean, he missed 11, 12, 13. That's understandable. I don't know. I don't think he has to do much. I think it's going to take a pretty spectacular round to kind of jump up into the lead and maintain it. But everyone who's gunning for this lead right now has to earn it going into tomorrow. No one's going to be able to walk away with this without a fight.
Calvin Heimberg has a matching pair of 60s in his opening 2 rounds. That's good for a 10 under par effort thus far. But if we're talking about needing to be in, say, at least the high 20s under par, that means Calvin's going to have to put together a couple of 9s, maybe even a double-digit under par effort or 2 in a row in order to get there. We know Calvin is likely to have a very consistent finish, but what's it going to take for Calvin to win? Is there anything in his game that's missing just a little bit at this point?
Well, he's missed 5 scramble opportunities. He's really not doing well in that category. When he's missing fairways, he's not getting up and down. He's 55th currently in scramble percentage, 38% of the tournament. So when things are going well, they're going great. He's putting good from circle 1, 93%. He's only missed just, I believe, 1 or 2. Circle 2 putting can increase a little bit, but again, fairway hits, he's number 1. Park jobs, he's number 2. Circle 1 in regulation, number 2. Circle 2 in regulation, number 1. I mean, he's got a lot of things going for him, but the short game and the scramble game need to clean up.
Simon Lizotte, you got to see him play, and he will be good enough to be on the chase card tomorrow. His story may be similar to Calvin's, except for the fact that when it comes to scrambling, Simon's doing pretty well. The problem is he's having to do it so often. He had 6 scrambles today that he was successful on, along with a couple that he wasn't successful on. That seems to me to be just a little bit too crooked, and he needs to straighten some things out. He's only got 39% on greens in regulation, and he hasn't made anything from circle 2, at least not today. Does Simon have a chance to go really, really low tomorrow and Sunday? Sim question, what's it going to take?
I think if you were to just stop at does Simon have what it takes to go really low? I mean,
of course he does.
What do you think, Grant? I mean, of course he has the skill set to go really low, especially on a course like this at the Toboggan where you can take a mid-range or a fairway driver and beat it down these long fairways and put yourself in wonderful position. He was throwing the disc straight really well. I think the big problem for Simon is, like you said, just cleaning up some of the small little execution errors along the way. I mean, he only hit 50% of his fairways today. On this course, if you just stick fairways, you're probably not going to have that many bogeys out here. And clearly, from all the scorecards that we've been seeing coming into the clubhouse, big numbers are what ruin people. I don't care how many birdies you have. If you take 4 or 5 bogey strokes, there you go. There's an average round. Otherwise, could have been a phenomenal round.
Yeah, a similar point when it comes to Bradley Williams Day, and I know you got to watch Bradley Williams. It's not that 3 bogeys is something that you can't overcome. You just can't overcome if you're not knocking the bottom out of the basket with birdie putt after birdie putt. Only 3 birdies on the day. It's just not enough to get him above the waterline. What happened to Bradley Williams today?
I think it was just one of those days. I mean, when the wind was high, it just didn't look like he was capitalizing, making a couple little execution errors, like I said. I mean, out here, when the wind is swirling like this and the winds are as strong as they are, you really have to execute. I mean, he hit a couple great putts early on, like this one on 3. But like you see, started out with a bogey and finished really poorly as well with a couple of bogeys on 16, 17. I will say, though, on 16, he barely went out of bounds. I mean, we heard from numerous players that they just missed their line by a foot and dropped out of bounds. I mean, hole 16 has been brutal for the entire tournament, not just the MPO division. So I just didn't see him getting himself in a position to take birdies. I mean, he he's only parked 3% of his holes for birdie, so he's had to work for every bit that he's got. So 2 more rounds. I mean, obviously, he's a great player, but he's got a lot of work to do.
Brian, final thoughts as we head into the second half of this tournament. It looks to me like the early portion of the round is a little bit more scoreable for most of the players than the latter portions of the round. I feel like by about the halfway mark in tomorrow's moving day, round number 3, we're going to know a lot about what players really do have a shot and which players are just maybe a little too far behind with not enough time to make up the ground. Do you have any players maybe outside that top grouping of, say, 5 or 10 or so? Do you have any players a little deeper in the field that you are keeping an eye on that you expect just might make a big move tomorrow up the board of, say, 5, 6, 7, or even 10 or 12 positions?
Man, it's the 2023 season, Grant. You're killing me, making me choose one of these players. We have so many champions that have come from even the chase card to take down victories this year. But like I said, someone that I think can make a move up that we're watching right now is Aaron Gossage. I mean, he had a day that he was not happy with. But out here at this course, he's another player like Eagle McMahon from Colorado that knows how to throw up and down hills. He has a bunch of tricks up his sleeve. As long as the putter gets working for Aaron, I think he's going to have no problem jumping up the leaderboard. James Proctor's lurking a little bit. He has opportunity to make up some strokes. But like we see with Gossage's scorecard, 16 got him, just like a lot of other players. And then 17, I mean, that's uncharacteristic. I saw the drive on 17 from Gossage. He smacked it. It was a wonderful shot over the road down the right side, and it just leaked a tiny bit left out of bounds, and it caused him some trouble. We're seeing here his drive on 5. He's throwing the disc fantastic. He's shaping the backhand well now. It's not just power hyzer, on both sides. He's got the full skill set now, Grant. So I think Gossage is the guy to look out for.
Yeah, without those 2 blemishes late in his day, he shoots 6 under par, which matches the leaders, and he's in solo 5th and well within striking distance. So a hot round tomorrow. Aaron, definitely an example of one of 4 or 5 players worth watching in that, say, 9th to 14th or 15th positioning that could absolutely make an exciting run tomorrow. And if they do, we'll make sure to get eyes on them right here on the broadcast tomorrow afternoon. Tournament Central returns tomorrow morning at 8:45 a.m. Eastern Time as we preview round number 3 of the FPO division bright and early on Saturday. So make that run to that donut shop, get that favorite cup of coffee, and make sure you're right here in front of your screen joining Brian Earhart and myself, Grant Zellner, for tomorrow morning's Tournament Central on the Disc Golf Network and day number 3 of Discraft's Great Lakes Open. Thanks for watching. We'll see you down the road.
What makes the Halal Guys so deliciously different? You might have heard of our famously long cart lines that NYC fans happily stand in. Today, with over 100 plus restaurants across the globe, we are your place to experience authentic American halal. Enjoy our delicious falafel, Euro sandwich, platters, and sides topped with our famously flavorful white and hot sauces. Order online today and taste how we make different so delicious. The Halal Guys, bringing something deliciously different to the table.